It's up to them. If the rest of the world want to treat the southern part of Nigeria as, as criminals, then so be it for the rest of the world. Why are you living under that illusion that being together, carrying this weight of stigmatization is anything good? So why not just break up this contraption? And then we can all carry our crosses. Abi? So that you won't have to blame the North for terrorism. And the North won't have to blame the South for crimes under the banner or the name of one Nigeria. Because you can't fix this place. They may be lying to you of how great Nigeria is not great. Nigeria is not a great country. Nigeria is just the highest concentration of slaves, the black slaves in the world. It is not what they make you believe, right? What they made you believe. That is the largest, the biggest, or the most populated black nation on earth. No, it is the most populated black slaves, the concentration of the black slaves on earth, with no direction, identity crisis, hatred, poverty, diseases, corruption, every vice that you can think of is associated with this place. And it is because there was never a time that you agreed to be one. You never came together and say, okay, under this arrangement, under this agreement, we are forming a singular country. You are a creation of the colonists. And up to this moment, those who succeeded them, the neo-colonists, right? Those who succeeded them has maintained that same treatment. So if somebody like Kemi is telling you, don't take it too personal, it is time for us to think. And what do you think the world sees us as? Same way. How do you think the rest of the world, or should we say the white people, see us? It's the same. So maybe the greatness in us has been sort of locked down by the deceit of us being one country when we are not. So maybe when we break ourselves apart and everybody goes their separate ways, we can redefine our place in the world. We can redefine what the world should see us as in the next decade or the next century. Why not think of that? And yeah, I am not in 100% in support of that statement of calling the northern Nigeria the northern Boko Haram, because that is a generalization that somebody like me won't expect from somebody like Kemi. But you blaming her? No. Her father is pro-Yoruba. Kemi's father is a pro-Yoruba. He is one of those who actually spoke in defense of Oloye Sunday Igboho and Yoruba nation. So she came from the family that is 100% pro-Yoruba. Probably that kept telling themselves that we're not supposed to be in the same country with the northerners if we had choice. And there are many, many elderly people like that. There are many older generations that believe so, that normally we shouldn't be the same country. The closest we could be to call ourselves the same country would be to have a regional system where everybody runs their own affairs themselves, not this one fake Nigeria. There are older generations that continue to believe that. They are passing that down too. They're passing it on to their own descendants, making them realize that, listen, you don't know, the future, the chance may present itself. Don't ever forget who you are. Don't ever forget your identity. No matter how long they lie to you about this one Nigeria, that, do not forget your identity. If a chance presents itself, you must fight for the Igbo nation. You must fight for the Yoruba nation. So if we have those from northern Nigeria that are not telling their own children that Arewa nation or Kwararafa nation is their own countries, Nigeria is not theirs, then you shouldn't blame that on the rest of us. We understand that those who are currently in charge of Nigeria, Tifnumbu and his gang, They are one of those who despise Nigeria too. The opportunity presented itself to them to fight for their own supposed nation. No, they took another chance at Nigeria because that to them is pretty much like beneficial. It is their turn to loot Nigeria, enrich themselves at the expense of their own nations. I believe there are generations that will never act like them when the opportunity presents itself. So don't take Kemi's statements in bad faith. If you are from northern Nigeria, those who lied to you that Nigeria is one indissoluble nation, they lied to you. Nigeria is going to break up. The question is when? How it is going to happen, where it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, all these are going to be, there are questions that will be answered with time. But this Nigeria is not sustainable. It is not. And the breakup of Nigeria is going to happen in sequence as well. The older generation that kept this contraption together, for their selfish reasons, they are passing, they are already dying. And in another 10, 15, 20 years, some of them will be dead. And the idea of the breakup of this contraption will be more pronounced than it is right now. They have not done anything to build nationalism in us. If you meet an Igbo person, he is not nationalistic in that sense. I'm going to say a real Igbo person. Similarly, any Yoruba person. And same thing in any Hausa or Fulani or wherever. There's nothing nationalistic about us. There's nothing that says, oh, I love Nigeria. People love their own ethnic nationalities more than they love Nigeria. You know that. There's no love lost between Nigeria and us. The chancers, the opportunists, parading themselves as a one Nigerianist, who are waiting for their own turn by turn Nigeria Limited. Once they have what they want, they will dump it. I mean, they will dump it and then they will move on. So there's going to be a generation that's going to be so truthful. And it is ideal, if you are from northern part of Nigeria, to begin to see this. Those who fought to keep this contraption together, they are old, they are getting older, and they are dying. And you see those that are succeeding them. You can tell. Look at the level of impunity you have in the system now. If your man becomes the president of Nigeria, he will pack his own ethnic people, his own tribes. He will pack them into every position. Is that the type of nationalism that you probably expect to last or to sustain a country? It is not. There is no nationalist anywhere in Nigeria anymore. They are all chancers, opportunists. And very soon you are all going to see through, you're going to see that. And you realize that this is not sustainable. It is not. And I hope that my own message will kind of get you to think and stop lying and deceiving yourselves. There is nothing called one Nigeria. Nigeria is only one. When your own tribe is in charge, when your tribe is no longer there, you will tell yourselves the truth, right? And that's exactly what is playing out. So how long do you think that is going to last? How long? It won't last. Let everybody taking their own turn right now continue to tell you how Nigeria will be this or Nigeria will be that, but that's the lie. So it's a matter of time. Nigeria will break. And we just don't want it to violently break. And even though that may not be totally in our control, you see, better enlightenment, education, exposure, exposes, stuffs like this, and will kind of like build your mind to let you understand that when it is time to let go, let it go. Let it go. You can't hold it together anymore. Let it go. Let it go. That will be your song then. You will let Nigeria go because you can't hold it together anymore. Those who are holding it together right now for their own selfish interests, very soon, they will be kind of like tired of that. And the truth that they are keeping away from you will surface. Don't forget that. Let's go to another thing. I saw these guys who are like arguing of how much people don't respect the National Assembly guys. I mean, they said if they invite the people in government to come and give, to come and answer some questions at the National Assembly, they do not honor their invite. A corrupt National Assembly members or a corrupt National Assembly and its members are complaining. And Oju Zokalu was the first to speak on that. Let me show you.
Discussing with somebody. Yes, I was, but you could call my attention. That is your job, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity you have given to me. I was there at Soko in the meeting, and Julius Berger refused to come. They have been doing it in the 9th Senate. Most people summon Julius Berger, they refuse to come. And I urge this Senate to punish them. They cannot be doing this. If they're a construction company, they must listen to the parliament. It's not only Julius Berger. Even some of our ministers are not answerable to the committees. And they will insult our chairman. And they will insult people working in the Senate. You will invite a minister of Federal Republic of Nigeria. Some of them will not listen to the chairman of your committee, Mr. President. And enough is enough. We should query these ministers and ask Mr. President to drop them. How can a chairman of a committee be looking for a minister for 2, 3 days, 4 days, they will not answer phone? So they are doing the same thing Julius Berger is doing. We are protected under Section 28, 88 and 89 of the Constitution as amended, 1999 Constitution. We cannot be taking this. This is a parliament. Unless they want us to be a study area, we become a study area. We are lawmakers, and they should respect this place. It's not only Julius Berger, it's also your ministers and DGs. Many chairmen of parastatal, including some of the federal government parastatal. The chairman have been telling me, I will go for a committee meeting, I expect to see a minister, the minister will not come. And I'm not the chairman, I can't do anything. It's a hard time that any minister, the parliament must put a performance record for all the ministers. I must report to the commander-in-chief. Because we are not here for jokes, Mr. President. Please, I want to thank my colleague, Osamgu, for bringing this motion. Because it is annoying that you will send us to do something and we'll be looking for a minister. I called one minister throughout yesterday because I had a meeting and message from my committee. That minister has not answered now. Just now I'm talking, I saw his missed call for 24 hours. Is that right? That is not good, Mr. President. We have to use our powers. Thank you, Mr. President, for giving me this opportunity to voice how I feel this morning. I feel like fighting, but I can't fight. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Nuisance, Lele.
These are the kind of nuisance in charge of that contraption. Oh, you need to listen to another one. Oshiomole. He himself, given his own experience of summoning supposed people were given their contracts, and then they didn't do the contracts, and they feel above the people that gave them the contract, blah, 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 blah. Then you hear that of the side of Akpabiole. Listen to this.
I have listened very attentively to all those who have spoken, but somehow my views are totally and fundamentally different. Your Excellency, I'm happy you are now seated when I have this opportunity to speak. I associate myself 100% with some of the sentiments expressed by distinguished Senator Dixon. That these chambers is not a place you bring contractors to. Because by doing that, we give them an undeserved respect. But my first question, why I say I'm happy you are the one on seat. I was a governor in Edo State, the way we have a federal government at the federal level. When I issued or I approved the recommendation of a tenders board or procurement process, and a contract is awarded, and I confirm from the Ministry of Finance that money has been paid, I go around to check if the money paid, if the job being done is up to the value of the money that has been paid. And should I find that the contractor is no longer working, even when we have paid, it is not the House of Assembly that helps me to bring an irresponsible contractor to justice. The first thing that we do, following the laws of procurement, because there's always a contract. In that contract, there are usually clear provisions as to what should be done when money has been paid and the contractor abandons site, or if the contractor is at site, is working at such a low pace of work that the job might not be completed within the time frame provided for in the contract agreement. But my people have a saying that when an elderly man has shared akara with a small child, he loses respect in the eyes of the child. But we are discussing a contractor here who appear to be more powerful than the Ministry of Works that awarded this contract. I think these two people who are arresting the president, they are part of those who have spoken. Asuko, we will issue warrant of arrest for against lawyer SAN.
I'm with you.
What do we do when a senator left his seat while a distinguished senator is on his feet in order to confuse and try to persuade the Senate president, and you are diverting his attention? It is my privilege to be heard clearly without disturbing the president. And as you go, I don't have to be a boxer to be able to keep you under control. So, sir, Mr. President, I am sure in your 8 years as governor, you have had cause to deal with contractors who collected money and thought it was a Christmas gift. Please, do I have the permission of the House? Osita, please. So, sir, my first question, who is complaining? Is it the committee that awarded the contract? Is the minister complaining? If the minister is not complaining or is pretending to complain, should we not make exactly the same anger on the minister as well as his agent, the contractor? When a man who gives you a job can no longer call you to order, there are questions to be asked, and there are hard answers that must be provided. The man who gives contract cannot be helpless unless he compromises his powers. So the anger of my brother, distinguished Senator Orji, should be directed at the Federal Ministry of Works. And like somebody said, even petty contractors collect money and walk away, and there are no consequences. And I want to ask for those of us who have had the privilege to give jobs, even in our personal capacity, when you pay your contractor with evidence and you have agreement that says once you pay, a job is done. If the contractor doesn't do it, why are you not invoking those sections, not only to terminate, but to use law enforcement? Because this is not a civil matter, it's a contractual obligation that can have a criminal implication. And then get the security enforcement agencies to recover the portion of the money that has been paid and for which no job has been done. For the committee to now be the one chasing a contractor and the federal ministry seems to be indifferent, suggests that we are directing our anger not to the source of the problem, but to the consequences arising from official neglect by those who are empowered to enforce contract agreement. I therefore submit, sir, with profound respect, but the Honorable Minister of Works is as implicated as any other person. Because in the first instance, he is the one representing the executive in awarding this contract.
We are coming to that because the Honorable Minister for Works, Debulumai, was also on a TV program just yesterday with Charles on Arise. And he asked him what he would be remembered for in the last 1 year that he's been a minister, if he's been able to do any significant work, right, that could be called significant in the last 1 year. And you need to listen to what he had to say. But before then, I want you to listen to Akpabiole. Akpabiole is like now rebuking the committees that have become toothless, unable to use their power. And according to Akpabiole, it is better you don't have such a position, unable to use the power, than for you to have the position and not use the power, something like that, right? Listen.
Discussion is repetitive. We have gone round and round and round and round on the same issue. First, I want to agree with majority of you who said that this issue ought not to be discussed in the plenary. You have your constitutional powers, and you have to be very well versed with your constitution. At any point in time, if you are a chairman of a committee and you don't know how to use the constitution or your powers, you don't need to bring it to the plenary. All you simply do is to let us know that you don't know what to do, and we change you and give it to another senator who knows how to use. I'm mentioning this because some people take the job of the parliament in a joke. I must tell you that the only thing that evidences democracy is the parliament. In every government, you have the judiciary, you have the executive. But once you have the parliament, that is a democratic administration. The parliament in law has the power to turn a man into a woman and a woman into a man. And even this constitution, if you look at section 88, section 89 particularly, up to section 89C, it says that you can summon any person in Nigeria to give evidence at any place or to produce any document or anything in his possession or under his control. That is, your power is so wide. You can summon any person in Nigeria. These contractors are in Nigeria, whether they are foreigners or not. You can summon any person. And the powers are given both to the plenary as well as the committees. So even the committees have the powers to do so. But where your efforts fail, that's when you approach the speaker or approach the Senate president to say that we need to issue a warrant of arrest. And you must also indicate who is going to execute the warrant. Is it the police? Or is it an agency of EFCC? Or is it the DSS? We are lawmakers. I heard also Senator Jusakalo's submission was very clear. That is not only JB, that it extends to even heads of parastatals and ministers. Personally, I was a minister. There was never a time I was invited by the House of Representatives or the Senate and I did not appear in person. Because when I was in the A Senate, I hated the idea of ministers sending assistant directors to go and appear in the parliament. Luckily today, the president of the country is himself a former senator. The vice president is a former senator. Even the first lady, a former senator. There's no way you use your powers and they will not understand. And you have to understand that your attitude determines your altitude. If you do not exert your powers, then why then are we here? So, since this matter has reached us, I believe we should go into the prayers and we should not discuss anymore. If the prayers are strong enough, there are prayers here.
ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ bá gbọ́dọ̀ Yorùbá tí mò ń sọ ẹ túmọ̀ rẹ̀ fáwọn adájọ́ tí ò gbọ́ Yorùbá ẹ pé mo lólórí burúkú ni wọ́n ò ní sóríire láyé àtàlìkìyàmà. mo gbọ́ owó tẹ́nìkan kó jọ tóun nìkan kó jẹ́ ń jò ní mo sì dákú. èé ti jẹ́ kí ni ó fi ṣe ọjọ́ mélòó ni ó fi lò ọdún mélòó ni ó ṣe láyé tí ó fi ná dúró owó yìí tán. La ilaha illallah ẹ fi ìyà jẹ mí ẹ fi ìyà jẹ mí ẹ ní ìlú ayé nírọ̀.
Listen to the Minister for Works, the Minister of Works, Devulumayi. Devulumayi is the guy who started this is coastal highway, Sokoto to Badagry highway. And they were going to spend about 50 trillion naira building these highways, while the major highways in Nigeria continue to collapse, where 90% of Nigerian highways are collapsing. So Devulumayi was a guest at a Charles studio yesterday, and he was asked this straightforward question.